I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
On today's episode of 1 Minute Reactions, react to Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, episode 25, Tsuguko, Kanao, Tsuyuri. The title of today's episode is so deceiving. Reading it, you figure we're just gonna get a flashback into Kanao, who has been a very mysterious character up until, now. Oh, no. We get so much more. One thing in particular I've been complaining about since episode 19. So let's get this started. Last we left off, Tanjiro is just training his ass off. Luckily though, he's got some hardcore fangirls in his corner. Yes, those sweet little adorable dot-eye girls. We find out this episode our names are Sumi, Kyo, and Naho. He's definitely gaining momentum, especially when he finds out about total concentration breathing constant, where you literally are in a state of total concentration breathing the entire day, including when you sleep. Now we already know this puts a major strain on Tanjiro's body, and now he has to keep this state of intensity 24 hours a day. And of course, right off the bat, he is having issues. Luckily, like I said, the dot-eye girls are there to help. Hey, you three, do me a favor. When I'm sleeping, if I leave concentrated breathing, go ahead and beat the crap out of me, which they have no hesitations about. But it's working. This total concentrated breathing is kind of like when, I would say, Goku and Gohan were training in the hyperbolic time chamber, and they came out and they were in a state of Super Saiyan, yet doing, their normal stuff. They weren't utilizing the rage as much, but they were just trying to keep that power level. Also, I guess Bleach and Ichigo about his, always on faucet and then turning it off. Like, there's so many correlations between other manga. It's actually quite interesting. But in this state, he is not only able to expand his lungs, which expands his ability to breathe, but now he's becoming more accustomed to it, gaining stamina, and we're seeing the results in this episode. But it seems we're not the only ones noticing this. Yes, of course, Zenitsu and Inosuke have taken notice. They see that they're falling far behind. And after a little pep talk from Shinobu, who honestly is a master manipulator, she uses Inosuke's, I guess you would call it manly pride, to try to goat him into training more, as well as literally just flirting with Zenitsu and just holding his hand. They're back into training. But I'd like to think that Tanjiro had more, to do with it than just the flirtation from Shinobu. Seeing him train, seeing him go all out, I hope that inspired them. Now, taking a break during mid-training, it seems we have a couple of guests at the Butterfly Mansion. Yes, it is the return of one of the most interesting characters I have ever seen. It is the swordsmith Hataro. Now he's a little upset with Tanjiro and literally tries to kill him. Why the hell did you break my Nichiren sword, my masterpiece? What are you doing? Honestly, that shit was coming. Literally, he met him and put him into a figure 4 leg hawk just because his sword didn't turn red. But it seems he also has a compatriot. Yes, Kozo, he's the one that forged Inosuke's Nichiren sword, and they turn a awesome, kind of grayish bluish hue, which Kozo remarks as being very beautiful. And instead of just sitting there and admiring them, Inosuke proceeds to bash them to pieces with rocks to get that razor blade effect. And again, we get an awesome animated moment. It's a nice comedic moment. Like I said, this series has been very good of splashing in comedy at a very precise time without overstepping any of its boundaries. But let's get back to training and the effects of Tanjiro has on his friends. Speaking of which, there was one more person to take notice. Kanao. Now, Kanao has been an interesting character ever since the final selection. She was quiet then, we saw her again, she was quiet then, and we saw her now, and she's still quiet. Well, there's a reason, and we get a flashback into her life, and it seems, again, we have another demon slayer with just a completely shitty life, but this time it has nothing to do with demons. It's the humans that have totally fucked her over. We see her just a disheveled, disgusting mess who had literally just got beaten and bloodied by her own parents, and after taking this abuse for some times, she literally just snaps. There's literally a animation of a rope snapping, and she said she feels no pain, she feels nothing. She's literally no longer human. And then one day she gets fucking sold. Not only did you treat your child like absolute shit, and now you fucking sell her? Luckily though, as fate would have it, Kanao and her new owner, aka we'll dub him piece of shit, just happen across a couple of demon slayers. Yes, Kanai and Shinobu. The sisters take notice to the little girl, and it seems that Kanai has fallen in love with her, and Shinobu, in an act of badassery, just flings money finally at the dude and takes off with Kanao. Yet again, she seems to honestly be broken. She does not eat when she's hungry. She literally does nothing unless she's like told to do. There's just no, honestly, if she would just sit there and she'd probably just die. Luckily though, Kanai had an idea to give her a coin. If ever you come to an opportunity where you don't know what to do, go ahead and flip this coin, and at least gives you a path to walk down. Now it's quite funny that this coin was used early in the episode as she looks at Tanjiro, because Kanai at this point also says, what are you gonna do if you find a boy that you love? So is there a relationship between these two? Are we gonna see a potential, hookup? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Obviously, Tanjiro has a lot on his plate, but I'd like to think that eventually he would settle down and start his own family. Of course, Zenitsu and Nezuko are already gonna be, together, so Tanjiro needs some happiness himself. Anyways, as we go on the episode, Tanjiro is just making headway. He finally catches Kanao, blowing up those jugs, doing the breathing at night. He is just ripping and tearing. And I gotta say, the preceding moment is something I've been waiting for since episode 19. As Tanjiro is being examined by Shinobu, he finally asks her about fire breathing. Hey, have you ever heard of Hinokami Kagura? No, I haven't. I mean, it's something I've been waiting for since episode 19, where, the dude has two breathing styles, yet has definitely fallen to, the backside. Like, what the hell's going on, dude? Like, is it rare to have two? Is it impossible to have two? You have two, so what the hell is going on? He finally brings it up, yet we get no freaking answers. Except she does allude to the fact that flame is different than fire. Now, you cannot mix these two up. She has been told, I believe, by Rengoku, the guy with literal fire for hair, who she saw off on the mission. Yeah, he says never mix the two up. What does that mean? What's the difference between fire and flame? Like, one more episode left, and obviously we're not gonna get any freaking answers. But it doesn't mean we're not gonna get a good episode, because the episode leaves off with this overlook of a train, and on the train looks to be another freaking demon. Yes. So even though we have only one episode left, it says we're gonna lift off in a cliffhanger. I mean, you can't start an entire arc in one episode, and I don't want them to. Like I said, the title of this episode is so deceiving. You figure it's just gonna be about Kanao, but no, we get her. We get Tanjiro just being a badass in his training. We finally see Zenitsu and Inosuke get to work. We see the return of the swordsmiths, and honestly, that animation was hilarious. And we finally have someone bring up fire breathing. Like I said, I'm a mixture of anxiety and excitement. We only have one episode left. How are we gonna leave off? Is it gonna be a cliffhanger? Are we gonna get a death? I mean, who knows? This series has been so good, so amazing, so many twists, so many turns, setting up so many mysteries, and the battles and animations, everything has been perfect. If it goes out with the bang, honestly, this has been, I'm gonna call it, this has been my favorite anime of 2019. Yes, number one in my eyes. So with that being said, and only one episode left, it's very easy to say, I cannot wait for future episodes.